Hello and welcome to part 8 of the USS Nimitz 1700 scale build. And in the last video we got all the aircraft painted up, and in this video I'm doing all the decals, and quite a lot of decals. I've shown you before, but here's there's some missing I've done, but there's the size of the sheet, how many there are. They're in sections of the aircraft, so we've got the FA-18Cs there, we've got the FA-18Fs, so you can do them, find them quite easily. One problem I did have so far is with the helicopters. There was two options in the instructions. So you could build, well, in all of them anyway, there's two options of each aircraft, the way you want to do the decals. Problem is, for the Hornets anyway, there's only enough decals to build one like that. The rest have to be built like that because they don't give you enough. They give you enough decals to do just one. I don't know why you would. And that seems to be the case for every aircraft. They'll give you enough of the brightly coloured decals for the tail and so forth. You can do one of each aircraft like that. I've opted to go the faded one on all of them. The helicopter, the Ocean Hawk one, for example, it had a decal on the body here, which had a number on it, probably just a number for the helicopter, which isn't included in the decal sheet. So I don't know why they've left that out, but there is a number it says to put on that one, and you can't because they don't supply that number. Also the decal on the front of the helicopter on the side there, going by the picture, even though it's so small, and even the artwork on the box does not look anything like the decal they've supplied. So if you're doing this kit, your choice whether you want to leave it on, leave it off, or go to some real footage and have a look and see what that actually had there. But yeah, they've messed that one up. They're all going on fine. There's not a problem with the fittings. This Mark Fit Strong is really good to use. You just put a dab of that down first, put the decal on top of this, make sure it's all flat. This will weaken the decal a little bit so that it's malleable, and once it's sitting flat, you can just get the excess off with a cocktail stick, and then if you want, just dab a bit more on top and leave it, but I don't think it's necessary because these are so small. It's not like they're going to, wrinkle or anything. So I've done, like I said, I've done the helicopters. There were 4 of those. I'm working on the F-18Es at the moment, and I don't know how well we can see this, but here's one that's done. It's probably going to struggle to focus on that, but the decals are all on that, and there's probably about 8 on that one. Now, I still have to do some grey on the exhaust on the back. I have to do the black for the tyres. And like the helicopters, I've already done a bit of silver in the centre of the rotors for the tail as well as the main rotor. This probably not going to be able to see. Definitely going to struggle. It's just so small. Yeah, so I'm going to keep going with these. These are very time consuming. This will take quite a while. You have to be very careful. and slowly work through the process. So it's likely I will take a break from these at some stage and move on to the ship and start weathering around the hull. Again, we'll have a look at some of that probably in this video of part 8. Because I can see this taking me at least 3 days of just doing these, finishing these aircraft with the painting touch-ups as well. So yeah, that's the one thing about aircraft carrier building. It's fine until you get to the aircraft and then you go, oh, we're nowhere near finished. Okay, so we'll be back shortly. Hello, welcome back. And as you can see, I've completed all the aircraft. All the EA-6Bs, the F-18s, the helicopters, all the decals are done. All I have to do with these now is give them another clear coat, which will seal in those decals and allow me to do a little bit of weathering. Although, due to the size of these, I'm not going to do too much weathering. I've run out of clear coat, so in a few minutes I'll be heading down to the hobby shop to buy some extra products I need, which include X20A thinner is also what I need. So yeah, basically up to the weathering stage of everything now. So I'll put these aside for a while. I'll give them a coat of the clear today, and then I'll let them dry till tomorrow. But today I'm going to start working on the ship. So I didn't touch that. I was going to take a break from these, but I didn't need to. I don't mind doing decals, and they all seem to go on quite easily without a problem. So I'll be starting on weathering around the outside of the ship, putting in some grey streaks, grey marks, some rust marks, salt marks, and so forth. Okay, so back shortly and we'll have a look at how that's going. Hello, welcome back. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to start weathering on here. At the moment I've just got it propped up on a piece of foam at an angle, just so that I can work underneath it easily. And the first thing I'm going to do, and obviously I've already put a clear coat over all of this a few days ago, is I'm going to use the panel line accent color from Tamiya, and I will go through and touch up all the little grill areas underneath. I know it's hard to see, but it's light, getting a lot of reflection off this. But there's little platforms in here, there's little vents, these little grill areas here. Get them better view. So I'm just going to touch a bit in there just to make them stand out a little bit more. I might do a little bit up around the railings up on here. Some of these platforms I'll just do a touch of just to highlight some of those areas, especially on here where the anti-aircraft guns and others launchers are there. So I'll touch them up. I'm also going to use it inside the blast barriers mechanisms for raising and lowering those platforms. I've got to darken those and dirty those up, so I'll use a little bit of this and probably a little bit of this MIG wash as well. It's another option. I've also got a this one? This is a multi-black wash from Mr. Weathering, Mr. Hobby. Is it there? So that's another option. And then further down the track, there's some stained brown. Not too sure how much of that I'll need. Not really brown. And then we've got the rust. So we got Mr. Weathering rust color there. This is what I use on most of my models. It's really good. There's also the Tamiya Weathering Master. We got soot, rust, and snow. Obviously, we don't need snow, although it does make some good salt marks from salt water if I needed to put any of that. Although, because we don't actually have the hull here, this is the water line, there's probably no need for that on there. So yeah, I'll start working on this, and we'll have a look and see how it progresses. It may be best for me to throw some photos up as I go too. All right, we'll be back shortly. Hello, welcome back. So now that the weathering is complete for the moment on the ship, I've got to start work on the base for the waterline. As it's a waterline ship, I need to do the base where the water's going to be. So what I've done is I've measured out the template, which is, as you saw earlier, measured this out, cut it into a piece like this here, and all I need to do now is give it an undercoat, which I'll be using Mr. Surfacer 1000. No particular reason, I just needed to get some undercoat paint, so I'll use this. And yeah, so I'll just go quickly with the magic of video, and I'll be right back with this painted. 1 second. Okay, so painted. I used nearly the whole can on this because the wood seemed to absorb quite a lot, and it's pretty much empty. So anyway, it's come up okay. It's only the undercoat. It's a bit rough. I guess it's just the type of wood it is. So the next step now, and this is completely dried, is the blue. So I'm going to airbrush flat blue XF8. It's there. Tamiya's XF8. And see how that looks. I'll give it a few coats, so I want it to look nice and blue. So that one I can't, well, it's going to take a while to do that. So I'm going to go set up now, get the airbrush ready, get this thinned out and ready to go, and I'll give this a coat and we'll come back and have a look at that. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, welcome back, and through the magic of video, we've got it painted. Come up a really nice blue, and the next step, of course, I only did this a few hours ago, so I need to let this dry, and I'll probably leave it until possibly tomorrow. But then I'll be using some gloss clear coat. This is a Mr. Hobby one, and I'll be putting that over there to give it a bit of a shine. Not that it really needs it, because this will be going over the top, which is a shine anyway, but at least there you can sort of see the effect of what that's going to look like. Yeah, so all good. So next time I come back, it should have a clear coat on there. So once again, I will be back very shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I've decided I'm not going to do a clear coat over the blue because I don't see any point, considering this plastic's going to be over the top. It's going to give a much gloss effect. I don't think the paint underneath being glossy is going to make any difference. Now I'm just checking the fit here. So this is what it looks like from the bottom with it placed in, which I'm going to run some glue all the way around. Not sure what I'm going to use yet. I do have this PVA wood glue. It's got suitable for wood, paper, cardboard, cloth, foam, laminate, veneers, pottery, leather. Doesn't actually say plastic. So I'm thinking it should be okay. If I run it around the outside here, I might even use some CA glue as well, because once this is glued, I want to be able to trim off the excess that I have here. So it's going to sit flat. If I turn it over, you'll see what I mean by there's not much point painting that blue on the wood gloss when I've got this plastic over the top. Of course, there's a lot more reflection here because of the light on. If I actually turn off this light, see that it's a little bit looking okay. I'll be actually probably doing a bit of white for the tops of the waves as I go through, and probably like dry brushing or something. I'll have to experiment. But for the moment, I just want to get this stuck in there. I've test fitted the aircraft carrier onto here. It fits absolutely perfectly. I mean, it is a snug fit. So much so that I'm not even going to glue it in. I'm just going to sit it in there. It's not going to go anywhere. And then I've always got the option of taking it out later if I wanted to. But so I'm just going to have it sitting in there. So I'm going to see how I go gluing this down now. And I probably will have to clamp it a little bit somehow. Keep this in place. We'll see how we go. All right, back shortly and we'll see how that's gone. Okay, welcome back again. And as you can see at this stage, I've got the glue all the way around. I've got my trusty Stephen King book, applying pressure to one side where there was a bit of a gap between the plastic and the wood. And over here, of course, I've got the required jar of Vegemite to have a bit of pressure to hold this corner down because it was lifting up a little bit. So this will stay here overnight. I did make sure I made Vegemite sandwich before I put the jar here, so because I won't be able to move that. And we'll come back in the morning and that should all be dry and hopefully that'll be set well, strong. Now there is one edge down over here that I haven't glued because there's quite a gap, which once all the rest is secure, then I'll be able to put something up here and put some pressure on that and glue that down tomorrow. I may even, as an extra idea, I've got some silicon that I used in my Scharnhorst display diorama, and I've got a lot of that left over. So this silicon, I might run that all the way around the edge as a permanent seal as well. That would save me having to cut and trim this plastic off. There's a few options, but that's about all I can do for today. I will most likely, in fact, yeah, we'll end the video here. Part 9 will be obviously finishing off this, and we've still got to stick all our aircraft down on the flight deck and position all those to where I want them to permanently be. And I still have to also install all the aerials, all the antennas that are all the way around the ship as well, which I've deliberately left to last so none of those get broken, which I still have some photo etch for those pieces to go on. And I don't remember if I showed it or not, but I finished the nameplate that will go on this. So this is here's a few little tips on how I did this. I'll just put this brush down. I get glue everywhere. So what I've done was I've just used a black paint. First I primed it white, then I used black paint right across the whole thing. And then to get the lettering, I have one of these fine liner metallic pens. So there are a paint pen in there, and that was just a shake that a bit. Just a matter of going around and drawing over all the raised lettering. But I'll give you a tip that I learned from another video. I don't remember where I saw it. You don't have to be too accurate. Don't try to be too accurate or worry if you get a bit of silver off onto the black or where it shouldn't belong. Because what you do is when you're done, you come along with a clear coat, give it a nice thick layer of clear, And then going back to my black paint, what I did was I mixed up a really diluted black paint that's like a wash, almost like a panel line. And then once that's, it's probably about 30% paint to 70% thinners. And then I come along and I, just like you would doing panel lines, I would just touch the black around where I may have gone out of, got silver off the raised part, and the panel line, this stuff will just go in the paint and just fill all those spots and neaten your writing up so that it comes up nice and crisp looking like that. So this, I plan to just glue this down in the corner of this diorama, and I think that should look quite good too. Anyway, that's all for towards part 9. Will be coming up next. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notifications tab so you get notified of each video that comes out. If you're new to this video, we are on to part 8 here, so you can go back to the playlist and watch the whole thing from the unboxing all the way through. Please leave comments below, tips, advice, whatever you want. I like getting comments and hearing from those watching. And of course, the old thumbs up would be nice too. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye for now.